Welcome to Living a Life by Design. It's the journey back to you and living 365 days of purpose with your host, Esther Graham. Did you know your accountability and possibility is by design? God designed a phenomenal life for you, gave you the gift of choice. Esther helps empower you to discover and pursue the purpose that is already in you. Are you ready to look at yourself and see your future? Then get back to what is really important in life and get in alignment with your true self. Stay tuned to Living a Life by Design. Journey back to you and start living 365 days of purpose with your host, Esther Graham. It all starts now.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Living a Life by Design. I'm so super happy that you are here. I'm Dr. Esther Graham, and it is an honor to serve you, and it's an honor to have you in this space. Today, I have a very, very special guest, Amy Franklin. Some of you may know her from our community, but Amy and I met about 3 years ago, I imagine, about 3 years ago, and we met at a women's business conference. And I tell you, we just connected. Since then, Amy has come to my retreats, her and her husband. She's come to my events, and we've gone on, let's say, a philanthropy tour together. We've done so much together, and it has just a joy. So I'm very privileged, very honored that Amy would take the time to come and be on the podcast with us to share her story and her journey. Amy was once in the foster care system, and she has risen above being aged out of foster care, starting her entire business as an entrepreneur, becoming an entrepreneur, sending herself through college, doing everything, going back, and then bringing her family along. So she has a powerful story, and I'm so super excited to share her with you and for you to hear her story. So let's welcome Amy. But Amy, you're going to come on, but let me just say something really quick. Guys, before I forget, because I always do, don't forget to like me on Facebook. Don't forget to heart this up. Don't forget to go on the YouTube channel and subscribe, because this comes on every second and fourth Fridays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, jump over to the Life by Design community on Facebook and request to join. We would love to have you. Now, Amy, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. The pleasure is mine.
It's so good to have you. I'm excited because, well, you know, I've been wanting to have you on because I just love your story, and I just love how we just connected. I'd like to say on a cellular level. You know how sometimes people connect on a surface level, but I think that the more and more we spent time with each other, we got to know each other, and we just began to connect on a cellular level. And one of the things I love about you is how free you are. And what a given person, and just a genuinely loving person that you are. And when you began to share your story from where you began and everything you've gone through to get to where you are now, I just think it's a powerful story that people need to hear. So I'd like for you to just begin to share with us, you know, where did you start off on this journey before you're to this wonderful life that you're living now?
Yeah, where to begin? Yeah, so I was the second child born to teenage parents who were unwed, uneducated, unsupported. And that's kind of where it all began, you know. I was in the foster system before I actually even have a memory. I believe, from what I've been told, I was first put into the foster system around the age of 8 months old. But the first time I remember going into the foster system, I was probably about 7. But I spent most of my life in and out of foster homes, different homes.
Yeah, it's interesting because you know, when I see you now, I see, you know, and when I've heard your story and when you and I are just one-on-one talking, you've gone from like survival, like there's a point, you know, that you were just surviving, you know,
Yes.
and you've gone from surviving to really thriving. When was that moment that you realized that I could no longer survive anymore? I've got to do something to make my life better.
Honestly, that is a series. of
Yeah.
decisions, a series of
Yeah.
small moments, small experiences. And honestly, that moment, it was a quiet moment that I really decided that. I mean, I can look back in moments of my childhood where I decided, you know,
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm going to do something different, where I decided
Mhm.
that I wasn't going to just sit back anymore. Um, but really choosing to thrive was a series of decisions through
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And there were times that I chose to thrive and fell back into surviving
Yeah.
later,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
I think that happens to us a lot, that I think once we make that initial, let's say, core decision, that we will no longer survive, that we've got to do something to get us to thrive. And maybe back then, we, including myself, maybe the word for us wasn't even thrive. We were just trying to make it,
That's exactly
just
right.
just trying to get out of where we were. We just knew that there was more to life than this, that honestly, that God had more to this life for us than what we were experiencing. And so I think that when we're trying to get out of survival into, let's say, thriving, for the sake of this conversation, we do fall back because it is a series of things that we
Absolutely.
go through. I remember you stating that how, you went to college, you put yourself through college,
Yep.
right? Um, then you worked on a cruise ship. You had
Yep.
all these different jobs, right?
Yep. Because I
Yeah,
wanted to travel and
yeah,
there was no way for me to afford to travel. So,
yeah,
I do think like you have, if you want to do something, you have to believe it, right?
yeah,
I think a
yeah,
lot of people think too far ahead, so it has to be believable to you. But I could not afford to travel. So one
yeah,
thing that was reachable to me was the belief that I could get a job and travel. So
yeah.
yeah, I did.
Yeah, and so that is exactly what she did. And then after you decided not to travel anymore, what did you do? I'm asking y'all because Amy, sometimes we think people go from whoop to whoop. I heard, who was it? I think it was TD Jake says that you see my glory, but you don't know my story. You know what I
Yes,
mean? You don't know the things that I've gone through to get to where I am right now, right? And because all you
absolutely.
see is my now. And so I know that after, you wanted to travel, so you joined the cruise ship. And then what happened?
After the cruise ship, oh, I went back
Yeah.
to college. I'm not sure which
Yeah.
point you're talking about. You'll have to tell me what you're.
Okay. So this is like after you said, I'm not going back to the cruise ship. I've traveled. My next step to get to where I want to be is.
My next step at that point was, what did I do? Oh, I did a little more traveling right after the cruise ship, actually. And
Yeah.
then I'm trying to remember right now what the next
It's
step
been so
was.
much, right?
Yeah, there's been so much, but traveled, came back, went to school. Like I don't know. I'm always
Yeah. Well, I
doing something.
remember. Yeah. Well, that's it. I think that as we have always talked about, you were always doing something, always to better yourself.
Yes.
I think one of the things that really was last August, when we were in Africa together, and Amy and I, we went to Africa together to support Girl Up Uganda. You all check it out. That is a program that you should give to. But then there's also another program where Amy helped build. But there was this prayer that Amy said that really helped carry her through school, or through everything. Do you remember that prayer by Mother Teresa?
I do remember.
And she said that this prayer always brought you calm and would help guide you. Do you mind sharing that for a second? Do you remember to share it?
Absolutely. I'll share the prayer
Yeah.
briefly. It is, people are often unreasonable and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you are happy, people may be jealous. Be happy anyway. If you are honest, people may accuse you of ulterior motives. Be honest anyway. The good you do today may be forgotten tomorrow, but do good anyway. Give the world your best, and it may never be enough, but give your best anyway. For you see, in the end, it is between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway.
I love that because I think that's something that guided you, right? That guided you. And uh y'all, I'm not at home, so forgive me. I'm just not at home. So I um and so that is something, as we talked, and I never forget that night that you read it. And I thought that was so profound. And you said, that's how you've guided your life with everything that you've gone through in the foster care system, getting out of the foster care system, putting yourself through college, and then you got married,
Yes,
right? Had beautiful babies. And then that didn't work out.
right.
You built this wonderful business. So, y'all, I have to tell you that Amy has built several businesses. So I want to say that, for lack of better, she has won and she has, let's say, learned, not lost, learned. But at one point, after you've worked so hard to build yourself up, then
Yes.
you lost everything when your marriage ended.
Overnight.
How
Lost everything overnight.
do you mind sharing about that just a little, if you don't mind?
Sure. You know, my ex-husband, who has since done a lot of work and done a lot of
Yeah.
healing,
Yeah.
we spent 19 years together, and most of that time he was in addiction. He was in disorder. There was a lot that came with that. He struggled a lot. And
Yeah.
I woke up one day to a suicide letter that basically told me that everything we had earned and made was gone. I knew that something was wrong for the say 8 months or so. There was a lot going on. I knew something was wrong, but every time I would try to bring it up, he would gaslight me, he would lie, he would confuse me. And so I was just really confused. So I woke up one day and I got this letter. He didn't end up killing himself. He tried, but it wasn't successful. But in this letter, I realized that everything that I had built was gone. And it was significant loss. It wasn't a little bit of loss. And investments that were made, payments were not being kept up on, that I didn't realize. So we lost investments, we lost everything.
Yeah.
And at that point, I had $412 in an account. And that's literally what I had that day when I woke up, $412. And it was from an account that I had from high school that I forgot.
Wow.
And that was the only
Wow.
access to cash that I had that day.
Wow. 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 That's really something because when I think about that, and everyone, we're about to go on a break. And what I want to ask you about, Amy, when we return, because after, again, you've gone on this journey, you get married, everything is going well, you guys become entrepreneurs, you're doing well, and then boom, there's a crash. There was an identity and a mindset shift that took place for you at that time. And when we get back, everyone, we'll talk about exactly what that was for Amy.
What if your training isn't enough? The Multicultural Mindset Podcast invites counselors and therapists to unlearn the one-size-fits-all approach. This isn't cultural competence. It's a way of being that brings racialized experiences from the margins to the very center of care. Let's stop pathologizing Black pain and start challenging the system that created the bias in the first place. Visit newseasons.training to subscribe.
Festa della Donna with Esther Graham honors all women far beyond a single day of celebration. Regardless of your race, gender, sexual orientation, or religion, Esther helps you rise to your full potential to live fully in God's plan and to do what you were divinely created to do. Festa della Donna offers programs that help you fulfill your dreams and desires. For more information and to get your free copy of the Festa della Donna Retreat Self-Care Guide, visit fdbwomen.com.
There is more to life than simply surviving or even thriving. There's flourishing, High performance and quantum success coach Beth Larson helps you calibrate and elevate your life. Beth specializes in working with women who want more from their life, more energy, joy, passion, connection, and more meaning. As your coach, she will help you get clear about your life, prioritize what's important, and become a master of your energy. Visit BethLarsonCoaching.com.
Welcome back to Living a Life by Design with me, your host, Dr. Esther Graham. And of course, my very special guest is Amy Franklin. Amy and I have been talking about, her journey in life to when if you're just joining us, when Amy was once a foster child, from an infant. I didn't even realize, Amy, that it was from an infant. And now, of course, she is a successful entrepreneur that owns several businesses and and she's also a philanthropist and I think that's probably the biggest piece I love about you. Amy is a giver by heart, and she supports many programs in Africa. We're going to talk about that later in the end, what she does, because I do believe that in order for you to live the life that you live, a piece of that is giving back to communities, giving back to those who are in need. But Amy, we left and I said we were going to talk about, after your marriage ended, your first marriage ended, there was a mindset shift for you. And so the question I have is, after losing something that you had worked so hard for to build, because you worked really hard to build it, what inner mindset or identity shift had to happen for you to rebuild it differently the second time? Yeah.
I think I had to trust myself.
Yeah.
Right. Like if I were to go back and say, what was it? What was the shift?
Yeah.
The shift was really learning to trust myself. But I don't know if that was something that was intentional for me or something. Like it was a realization. It was a realization that nobody was coming to save me. Right. It's that. Sometimes it's that. Sometimes we have to be there because necessity is the mother of all invention, or whatever that saying is. It was that.
Yeah. I tell you, one of my coaches says that we are our own rescue. That if we don't make a decision to rescue ourselves, or if we are just sitting and waiting for someone to rescue us, it won't happen. And the fact that you're saying, I just had to realize I had to help myself, and you have to trust yourself. In our Life by Design community Facebook page, in our group, I posted, my belief. I said, you trust God, you trust yourself, and then you trust the process. You know what I mean? And what I see from everything you've gone through, even that prayer that I know you've said have guided you, you put your trust in somebody that was higher than you, but then you had to trust yourself. If people don't realize, if I don't trust who I am and trust my picker and just trust that I can do this, then I'm going to stay stagnant and not get anywhere.
That's exactly right.
And so I could put my trust, I could trust God, but if I don't trust me, I'm still in the same place.
That's exactly right. And when you are surviving, that's when you don't have your power, and it is a conscious shift. This I want to make clear. For me, it was a conscious shift. I don't think switching to survival is accidental. I don't think any of us are going to wake up there. I don't think if you wait it out, you'll get there. It's, Robert Kiyosaki in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he talks about having this inner track and this outer track. And that's the same shift of consciousness, the same shift of money, the same shift of time is the same shift of consciousness. And for me, it if I were to picture it in my head, it was, I got out of the back seat of and I started driving. And there were times I was in the trunk, right? There were times I spent in the trunk of my own life, but it was deciding that I was going to get into the front seat because nobody else was going to drive me. And not that I was just going to get in that front seat, but I was going to trust myself to drive. And that is a conscious shift. That takes guts. That takes intention. That was the shift.
Yeah. So what you're saying is that you made a conscious shift. You were very intentional. You had to do that because no one else was going to do it for you. I love the analogy of I was in the trunk of my car and I had to make the conscious shift to go and drive,
And
you
Dr.
know?
Esther, I was in the trunk and then I got to the back seat. And then I
Yeah,
got
yeah,
halfway, like it was not overnight because
yeah, yeah,
that is not overnight. But I was like,
yeah,
okay, if I can get into, just closer, just a little
yeah,
closer every time,
yeah,
but it really was me visualizing myself being at that wheel because I
yeah.
allowed so many other people to choose the direction of the life,
Hmm.
the way my life was going, or, the way I was living.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
consciously
yeah,
said, I will drive from now on.
yeah, yeah. I love that. Because you said two important things that, you know, you had to stop allowing people to choose things for you, right? That's
Absolutely.
one. Many times we do that. We allow others to choose for us. We're living our lives for someone else. And so therefore we never really drive and we never
Absolutely.
really accomplish the things I like to say that we were created to accomplish or be the person that we were supposed to be from the beginning. Um, and then you had to make that decision that, no, I'm going to get into the front seat and drive. So that meant that you had to learn to drive,
Absolutely. And
right?
trust myself, right? And
Yeah,
so I use the analogy a lot, like if you want to go to the dance, put the dress on, right? And I really
yeah,
just had to say, okay, I'm just gonna, metaphorically put myself in this seat. But that's what you have to do.
yeah,
I think you really have to act as if.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that because I believe that. I believe that you do have to act as if, you know what I mean? So yeah, if you want to go to the dance, put the
Put the
dress on.
dress on. It makes it
If you
more
want
likely that you will go.
that you will go. Yeah.
And
If
I
you
do
want to
think
drive,
that, yeah, exactly.
no, no, go ahead. You do think.
I was gonna say, like, being intentional on whether your thoughts are productive, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
that is a big part of one of my biggest learning lessons is I've had to ask myself, is this productive? Is this
yeah,
thought productive? Is
yeah.
this idea productive? Is this person productive in my life? And so it really, like I always say, choose your friends wisely, be careful of your
Hmm.
thoughts. Like those things, I think all of those things are so, so important.
Yeah, yeah, I love. And so you see the mindset shift that you went that took you out of survival mode. I think a lot of people we just get stuck. Many of us get stuck in survival
Because we
mode
don't trust ourselves.
because we don't trust ourselves. We don't trust our picker, especially when we've had some things happen to us. Then we're afraid to, we're even afraid to trust the process.
That's
You
right.
know what I
That's
mean?
right.
We're afraid to trust the process. Okay, I'm gonna go through this. I'm gonna walk through this. I'm gonna do these things, and we're afraid to do it. So we stay very stagnant, let's say. Stay very
Mm,
and we don't do
absolutely.
much. Yeah, because we've just lost. So, it's almost like looking and saying, I need to find hope again. I need to just believe in myself. I need to believe that I can do this.
When you move from operating out of fear
Yeah,
to operating out of belief, that's the
yeah,
power shift, right? When you can
yeah,
actually believe, I think there's two things that have
yeah,
been the, answer to my success or like the key to my
yeah,
success. It's
yeah.
I always know where I'm going next, right? I always know what's next for me. You'll never, ever find me and I don't know where I'm going to be in 3 months or 6 months. So I
Yeah,
always
that's true.
know what's next.
Yeah.
And B, the only way to get there is to actually believe it. So, I've taught my kids, like our thoughts don't create our reality. That is just a misunderstanding. And
It
people say
is.
that, but they don't create our reality. Our thoughts create our emotions, and our emotions create our reality. Our emotions lead our reality. So we have to remember
Yeah.
that our thoughts have to go through our heart before we
Hmm.
can make them real anyway. So we
Yeah.
attract what we want, we attract who we are. So when you decide what you want, it comes out of here,
Yeah.
but it has to pass through here
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
actually materialize. You can never
Yeah.
get it straight from here to there. It has to
No.
materialize here first. There has to be real
Yeah. Yeah.
intention with it. Or
Yeah.
I see a lot of people mess up with that, right? And
Yeah.
so when
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
when I have a belief or a thought, I always know if it's going to happen because I always materialize it here. first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great that you're saying that, because it's like bringing your heart and your mind into alignment. And so once I plant it in my heart and I begin to visualize it and I begin to see it, I begin to feel it. And then then it gets into my mind.
Yes.
And then I could really begin to see it manifesting. I begin to see it happening like in full force, right? And so the two becomes in alignment.
That's when results show up.
That's when results show up. If it's in your heart, but it's not in your mind, no results. No results.
It's impossible.
It's
we
impossible.
don't attract what we want. We attract the essence of who we are. So whatever you want, you really have to want it. You can't want it superficially. Like we can all say, I want to win the lottery. I want to be rich. I want to be powerful. I want to be famous. But unless it really is the essence of who you are, we really don't get there.
Yeah. We really don't. And with what you want, I believe you have to be very clear. Like you can't be in confusion with what you want. Like no, you have to know exactly what you want in order for it to be manifested.
I could not agree more. And you have to believe it. You have to know it and believe it. Those two things are magic, and this goes back to the Bible. This is the oldest written word. It's been written. I mean, it's the oldest written word is define and believe. And that's why prayer in how many thousands of documented religions we have has been for thousands and thousands of years. Prayer is powerful and it works in every religion and it works under every authority, because when you believe it, that's the power, is in belief.
That's the power. Yeah.
So really get out of the fear. Like if you want to shift your mind, you've got to trust yourself. You've got to get out of a fear-based mindset. And that is not easy to do. It's jumping that track. It's the inner and the outer track.
Yeah, it is. And it's not easy to do, but it can be done. Once you make up your mind and I am going to do this. And I love it because this is like, let's now just get it in our hearts. Let's get it in our system. Let's get it in our DNA. Let's just believe it. And then let's now begin to see it manifest out. Yeah.
That's
good stuff. Good stuff. We're going to take a quick break, everyone, and we'll be right back with some more powerful conversation. See you in a second.
Festa della Donna with Esther Graham honors all women far beyond a single day of celebration. Regardless of your race, gender, sexual orientation, or religion, Esther helps you rise to your full potential to live fully in God's plan and to do what you were divinely created to do. Festa della Donna offers programs that help you fulfill your dreams and desires. For more information and to get your free copy of the Festa della Donna Retreat Self-Care Guide, visit fdbwomen.com.
Tired of feeling exhausted as a parent? I would love to help you with a new vision for yourself that is focused on intentional wellness parenting. My name is Aurelie Cormier and I have over 40 years experience with complex cancer patients. I offer consultations, coaching, and educational programs for parents who want to boost their health and reduce risk of disease, especially cancer. For more information, go to aureliecormier.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Living a Life by Design with my very special guest, Amy Franklin. So, Amy, y'all, we're just having a powerful conversation. So, you had this journey, and we've talked about you have to believe in yourself for some things to just manifest. You have to know, moving from the trunk to the back seat to the driver's seat to all of that. And so, all of that has put you in a place to where now you have financial freedom. But many people think that financial freedom is all about money. Right? When we know it's not all about money, and financial freedom doesn't really come, or you could have it, but it's not really freedom until there's some things, I believe, like any type of inner healing or anything that needs to happen in your life in order for you to enjoy, let's say, the financial freedom to where now you could say, I could freely give, I could freely do this, I could freely do that. Why? Because I'm healed.
Yeah.
You know, and I like to say, I am healed, I'm being healed, and I shall be healed. You know,
Yeah.
talk to us a little bit about that for you.
Well, I think, for me, inner healing, it gave me clarity, right?
Yeah,
And I think clarity leads to better decisions, and better
yeah,
decisions lead to, better outcomes typically.
yeah,
So I think that
yeah,
for me, a lot of my inner healing, it came from clarity. It really came, like, I can't stress it enough. It came from trusting myself. It really
yeah,
came from learning to trust myself. And really, it was this realization. I wake up, I have no money. I have 3 children, and my ex-husband is having a meltdown. He's gone. He's just in a full
yeah,
meltdown. So I am in this, all by myself. And of course, it wasn't a same day recognition. This,
yeah,
this is, a
yeah,
process. But it was really just recognizing that I was the person that built it to begin with, right? Like that I was
ah, yeah,
actually that girl. I think sometimes we get so disempowered, like especially if you love somebody who's upside down,
yeah,
right? Like
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
an extreme empath. So when people I love are upside down, I feel upside down.
yeah, yeah,
So I think we can lose our footing by just loving people, like, and not realize who we are. And in my
we lose
marriage,
ourselves in them.
yes, that's exactly
Yeah,
what
we lose
happened. In my
ourselves in them.
marriage,
Yeah.
I did not know what way was up a lot of days. And
Mhm.
so it was really coming back to that recognition and realization that I'm the girl that did this anyway.
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
got so far away from even recognizing that part about myself, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
clarity, I
So
would say clarity, just taking time alone, just to, like, don't answer your phone, don't do, if you're in a space like that, and
yeah,
really
yeah,
heal, take time to be silent and take time to be quiet so that you can get clarity, because only
yeah,
in clarity can this healing and this self-belief, and only in that clarity can that happen. You really have to
mm,
make that space available to you first, and
first.
that's hard to do.
Yeah, it sounds like if one of the things that you did, and just from us talking many times, is that you took a journey back. You had to take a journey back to you. That's what I call it. You had to go back to you, rediscover you, or remember that, wait a minute, I was the one that did this in the first place. So if
Correct.
I did it once, I could do it again,
Right. That's exactly it. And
right?
so then you come out of that fear-based mindset,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you stop identifying in that space, and you start to identify. For me, I I had to start identifying with the girl who was rebuilding and stop
yeah.
identifying with the girl who lost it all. Because
Ah, that's good. Say that again. I think they need to hear that again. You have to
yeah,
stop doing what?
I had to start identifying with the
Yeah,
woman who was
yeah,
rebuilding. And
yeah,
I had to
yeah, yeah,
stop identifying with the woman who was broken and who had
yeah.
lost it all. And I had to stop
Mm,
identifying as somebody who lost a bunch. And I had to
hmm
start
hmm
being the girl who was building,
Yeah, yeah,
and I really had to,
yeah.
that's a conscious decision that
Mm.
that wasn't just going to happen. I had to consciously change my thought around that.
Yeah, I love I love this because you're speaking to identity, you know. Sometimes we don't know what our identity is. And so if we are still identifying as that person who's broken, that person who's still in foster care, that person who's divorced, that person who slipped and fell or whatever, we're still there. We will remain there.
That is the most powerful thing I have learned. One of the most
Yeah,
powerful lessons I've learned in my life, because I've
yeah,
had to do it all through life, right? Like as a kid,
yeah.
I can remember being in 5th grade and like being invited to a birthday party, but I didn't want anybody to know like where I lived, or, like all the things. I think the moment you can stop being that person and
Yeah,
start
yeah.
being the person coming out of it, even
hmm
if it's day one, You are,
Mm-hmm.
it's just change your language, change the way you think about yourself and that you are talking about yourself. Even when
Yeah,
you talk to
yeah,
your friends, don't like, I stopped saying, I don't know if I ever did, but I didn't use the words like, hey, I lost a lot of money. This happened to me. You know, I use the words, hey, I'm starting a new business. I'm
yeah,
starting a new
yeah,
adventure.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly. I
yeah,
tried to
yeah.
focus,
I love it. I love
yeah,
it.
focus on, put your energy on where you're going, not what you're running
Yeah,
away from,
yeah,
because you
yeah,
really are giving energy to what you're trying to get away from if you're not
yeah,
careful.
yeah. Forgetting those things that are behind, pushing towards that, pushing forward. You know what I
Stop
mean? Because
identifying with them.
yeah, yeah. So stop identifying. It's like I always say that, we can remember our past, but we don't stay there. We don't identify with that. It was something that our journey was something that brought us to where we are. And so we learned from it and it's helped build us, but we can't stay there. So we don't take real estate there. You
That's
know,
exactly right. That's
it's a
exactly
place of
right.
reflection, but not a place of residency
That's
anymore.
exactly
So
right.
our identity now changes, or to what we're building, where we're going. So your identity shift to the woman that is building a new business and building it well.
That's exactly
Yeah,
right. My identity
yeah,
shifted and the belief in myself. Like
yeah,
my financial freedom came
yeah.
from making, it's like the success that I've experienced is a byproduct of becoming somebody that I trust.
The success,
The
what your
success
experience is.
that I've experienced is a true byproduct
Yeah,
of
yeah,
becoming somebody that I trust and
yeah,
not identifying with the things that I was leaving and getting away
yeah.
from. Stop
Love it.
identifying with those things the moment you're done with them. They're not
Yep.
you anymore. Your
They're not
identity
you.
is the walking away. Your identity is the making the change. And though that's the words that you
Yeah.
use when you speak.
Yeah. You just become a new person. I'm no longer
Exactly.
that person. This
That's
is
right.
and here's the other piece. And when people come to remind you of that old person, you say, "Oh, I don't even recognize that person anymore. I don't know
Mhm.
who that person is. This is who I am right. This is who I am." Right? Because that continues to move you forward. And that's what brings the freedom. And so I have to, today, everyone, Amy she's got a couple of very successful businesses that I love it because she is a CEO and travels the world. And I want to talk a little bit about where you are right now and all the wonderful things. You've remarried, you have a wonderful husband who I absolutely 100% love. Um,
I
and
got him through definition and belief also. I just want to make that clear. Like I
yeah,
fully defined what I was looking for, and I knew
yeah,
what I was looking for in a partner. And I knew
yeah,
at that point, I knew my power, right? I'd lost my
yeah,
power for a long time, but getting it back, I realized like what I was looking for.
yeah,
So define what you're looking for if you don't have it yet, because you're not, I always say, if you don't know where you're going to be in 6 months from now, you're already there. Right. And
yeah,
so
yeah.
you really
It's
have to
true. Yeah,
decide what is coming up for you or nothing is coming. I mean, that's just
yeah,
the way that energy works.
yeah. It really it is just the way it works. And I love what you're saying and how you're putting it out there, because what you're also saying is that you have to decide. It's not something like you go to sleep and you wake up and boom,
Right.
you work on saying, whoa, this is who I am, retraining your mind, getting new neural pathways, let's say, you know what I mean? And just
Yes.
really moving in that direction. And like you said, even with your husband, with your partner, you made a decision. This is what you want.
Yes. It
Getting
was
clear, y'all,
intentional.
getting clear, getting very,
That's right.
very intentional. And now they're together. You guys work together in business. He's got his own, you've got your own, but you work together, you travel, you're doing all of these wonderful things. And,
Living a life by
uh,
design.
living a life by design.
Living
And
a life by design.
yeah, and it's absolutely wonderful. Uh, you, you travel, your children travel, you have three beautiful boys, right?
Yep. Yep.
They're traveling. And so and the life that you have right now does not by any way look like the life of the past or reflect. And if people meet you now, they would, unless you tell your story,
They would have no idea.
they would have no idea. But what I also love about that is that you are such a giver at heart. And, you know, we're going to be taking a break in a few minutes. And I want to talk about your philanthropy projects that you do that I think is just phenomenal. And I also want you to share, and y'all get your pens and papers if you already haven't been making notes, because I want you to give them some advice on how they can begin to move, you know, just, you know, trusting yourself, doing all those things. What are some steps that they could take right now to say, I can shift my life from wherever I am right now, whatever I'm experiencing right now, I can shift, you know, my life. Because I think that we need this, as you know, we need this as women, as human beings, right? We need it. And part of, I think, of shifting your life, and again, this is one of the biggest things. There are several things I love about you, quite, you know, frankly and honestly, but y'all, Amy and I get along really well. Okay.
Really well. I really have, you know, I've told you this before, but when I met you, I just always felt like you were so familiar to me, almost like I just always known you. That's what's so weird about our connection. There's just a familiarity. And I think that like speaks to like, right? I think that's
like
what
speaks
it is.
to
It's
like.
like we just, we get each other.
Yeah, definitely. We get each other. And one of the things I love, because I believe I have a very big heart. Amy has a big heart, like, shh,
Thank you.
you know, and and the projects and the things that she's doing for humanity, it's just phenomenal. And people don't know that she's doing it. So I just want to shed some light on it. And then maybe folks will say, you know, because I believe giving is a part of our success.
Yeah.
You know, that we have to have the heart of a giver, you know, and give, you know, just give from our overflow.
Absolutely.
You know, and then people say, well, suppose I don't have an overflow, but you decide what your overflow is. Everybody's got an overflow of something to give, right?
Absolutely.
And so that's what we do. Even if you're saying, well, I don't have money. Well, okay, but do you have an overflow of love?
Yeah.
Until you get this, do you have? And so that's why I said financial success, financial freedom isn't just about the money. You know, it just helps you. Financial freedom helps you to do many things, but it's not just the money.
It helps
you
to live a life by design.
It helps you to live a life by design that includes everything. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
What if your training isn't enough? The Multicultural Mindset Podcast invites counselors and therapists to unlearn the one-size-fits-all approach. This isn't cultural competence. It's a way of being that brings racialized experiences from the margins to the very center of care. Let's stop pathologizing Black pain and start challenging the system that created the bias in the first place. Visit newseasons.training to subscribe.
Festa della Donna with Esther Graham honors all women far beyond a single day of celebration. Regardless of your race, gender, sexual orientation, or religion, Esther helps you rise to your full potential to live fully in God's plan and to do what you were divinely created to do. Festa della Donna offers programs that help you fulfill your dreams and desires. For more information and to get your free copy of the Festa della Donna Retreat Self-Care Guide, visit fdbwomen.com.
There is more to life than simply surviving or even thriving. There's flourishing. High performance and quantum success coach Beth Larson helps you calibrate and elevate your life. Beth specializes in working with women who want more from their life, more energy, joy, passion, connection, and more meaning. As your coach, she will help you get clear about your life, prioritize what's important, and become a master of your energy. Visit BethLarsonCoaching.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Living a Life by Design. And let's continue our conversation with the wonderful Amy Franklin. So, Amy, talk to us, tell us, because I know everybody wants to know about your philanthropy products and the things that you love to do in your life. That your financial freedom has brought you to do all of this, and you're healing all of it.
Yeah, thank you. I love to help wherever I'm called to help, honestly. You know, my life was a series of charitable events up and until I was able to take care of myself. So giving comes naturally to me. I was raised by a bunch of givers, obviously, right? Like, look at my life. So that comes naturally to me. I think it's, I have so many projects that I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about Africa because I think Africa deserves a better chance. I think that the world has left Africa behind, and I don't get it. So I want to help because somebody needs to do something. That's why I'm so passionate about Africa. And when it comes to Africa, I'm passionate about sanitation. I'm passionate about water. I'm passionate about kids getting an education. Something I just read recently, which was shocking, you might not even know this yet, Dr. Esther, is that Uganda is the youngest country in the world. 50% of Ugandans are under the age of 18.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so that's really the future. That's like, that is the up and coming. That's what's rising for us. And so I think an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure all day long. And I think we should be focused on children as much as we can. Another big thing for me is Christmas. I never really had a true Christmas growing up. So anytime I see a Christmas tree in the mall or, all the kids' schools, the angel programs, I always give at Christmas.
Me too.
Give at Christmas, because children who don't have a lot are not going to have anything under the tree at Christmas. And if you can only have one day a year to have something. And, for me, I remember as a child, when I did go home, I spent 1 or 2 Christmases with my parents. I was in the 6th grade or so. It was one of the Christmases that I ended up being home, and we had no money. And I remember my mom waking up and just crying and just being so upset. And I was more upset about my mom being upset, right? But just these people came in out of nowhere, and they just delivered this most remarkable Christmas. And I still have everything that we got. Like, I'll just never forget their kindness. But it's not just giving a kid a gift. It's like letting a kid not see their mom sad for a day, letting a kid experience happiness in their home for a day. So I think what you can do at home, there's lots, I think whatever speaks to your heart is what you should do, because we all have had different experiences, and that's the balance of the world. And the world needs that. They need us all to resonate with different things, so that different things, we're called in different directions.
Yeah, exactly. Mahatma Gandhi says, "Be the change you want to see." And for me, I live my life by that. Be the change I want to see. And because I want to see some changes in the world, those are the things that I'm always pursuing. And those are the things I'm doing, So giving, and doing all the different projects. As you said, I see the angel, I'll give, St. Jude, because I want to be the change I want to see. And so, and I think that's important for all of us. I also think that, I just believe in that scripture that says it's more blessed to give than to receive.
I do.
So,
through us, all things flow abundantly. Through us, all things flow abundantly. And the only thing that blocks that is fear. The only thing that blocks abundance is fear. And so if we can be conscious of that, if we can just remember that the only thing that is blocking abundance is fear-based thoughts. And
that's
through you, the universe is abundant. Fear blocks abundance.
Yep. So true. And so I always tell people, so open your hand, don't have your fists like this, always be ready.
Act as if you're going to receive.
Exactly. Because when you could do that, then you could freely give as well. So powerful. Any other advice that you would have for our listeners today?
I just think, when we just circling back to like coming out through the mindset and the shift, I think the first step with making a conscious change in your life to go a separate direction is stop deciding that your current circumstances are your identity. Your current circumstances are not your identity. right? They're not your identity. Change the way you think about yourself and start to identify with the person leaving that situation. Start identifying with the person building out of that situation and not the person in it.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Start identifying with the person leaving the situation. Start identifying the person that's building, right? And so that, guys, if you could just begin to do that, I can guarantee you that your whole life will begin to change, because then you'll leave. If you're in a current situation right now that's not very good for you, it's not doing well at all, then that's the situation you leave. Begin to identify, see your future.
And it's
see
not
your future.
easy. Like, I don't want to say it's like, I, you know how many times I have been the girl in the room and just been like, but how? But how?
Yeah.
You know, when you're that, you're just like, but how?
Yeah.
So like, I don't want to make it sound like, oh, all you have to do is just do this. It's simple. But really, it's the conscious knowing and awareness. That's the first step. And, you know, like, you know, sometimes the first step to being intentional is to just have an intention to be like, you really like that. It's just that small. But I always say to my kids, what are you practicing today? Because you get good at what you practice. Are you complaining? Are you complaining? Are you, you know, what are you doing today? And what are you practicing? And so I think if we just know that that's it, then we can start to practice. And we all fall. We all, you know.
We all do it.
We all do. But the idea is, you know, do the next right thing. Right. So if you find out you're not practicing it, just get back on it again. You know, you don't have to throw it all away. It's not easy, but just anytime you catch yourself thinking outside of that space, do the next right thing and think forward again. You know,
think forward. And trust yourself and trust the process.
Trust yourself.
Trust yourself and trust the process.
Nobody's coming to save you. The truth is, we all have what it takes. And, you know, one of the best quotes, Rumi, who says, we are not a drop in the ocean. We are the ocean in a drop, right? We actually have it all. But when we're in fear and in doubt, and when our power has been lost, we forget that. So it's just the conscious thought that's the little spark, and then it all
comes together. And take your time. You know, it doesn't happen overnight. I like to say, take needle step moves. It's just as long as you keep moving. Just keep moving. Just keep moving. Thank you so much, Amy. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for having me.
For joining us. This has really been a great conversation, y'all. Make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, you know, join me on Instagram, on LinkedIn. Also, check out the Life by Design community on Facebook. We've got so much things that we're doing and sharing. I'm so super excited that y'all came to join me here on Living a Life by Design on the Transformation Talk Radio Network. Thank you so much, everyone. I love you. Thank you, Amy. Love you, love you, love you.
Love you.
Take care.
See you soon.
See you soon. Bye, everybody. Take care.
You have been listening to Living a Life by Design, the journey back to you, and living 365 days of purpose with host Esther Graham. Listen or watch live every second and fourth Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Discover that what is possible is already in you. God designed a phenomenal life for you. Esther helps you ignite that energy behind your personal journey for a deeper joy and peace. Living 365 days of purpose. For more information on living a life by design, visit fddwomen.com.